Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com on a Friday. This is 13th of October. Hope everybody has had a good trading week. Yeah, we had a lot of volatility, obviously concerns over what's happening in Israel, taking hold today as we come into the weekend, as they plan for ground assault and all that. So, we'll get into the charts in a second. There's a couple standouts, obviously, that fit that mold, right? That fit that narrative with what's happening with the geopolitical stuff. So again, I just had a class, went well on correlations, and a lot of those actually played out. We've been talking about strong correlations breaking, and all that. So that was a good class. I'm going to have another one probably a week from this coming Tuesday. I'll announce the subject. So if you want to sign up for that or inquire about that, I'll talk about this next Tuesday. Also, give me a thumbs up if you want any additional information about the website. Subscribe to the newsletter. All that. Hit the links below. Okay, let's get right into the charts, and obviously that's why everybody watches. So let's start with the S&P, and in that regard, you have a market that basically came very close to this level up here, this 4,400, sold off, but very, very choppy. In fact, we closed. There was some selling. It was kind of a mixed bag today. We had JP Morgan up on earnings, gave back some of it because of the selling pressure in the S&P. But you can see we had this big whipsaw move up here. Then we sold off again today, and then kind of stabilized at the close. All told, very, very choppy. Volatility really starting to pick up. The VIX did jump above 20. I'm sorry, but it actually hit 21. So you can see how choppy this last hour was overall. Clearly downside bias. However, kind of moving a little bit on the, if you take a look at the action in the last 2 hours of trading here, actually the last 3 hours, very, very messy, very, very choppy. You see that right here. So generally speaking, even this morning, we had an attempt at a rally with all the bank earnings coming out. We had that midday sell-off right to 10 o'clock Pacific, and then literally just went, this was just a mess in here, just chop, chop, chop. No follow through yet to the downside. Obviously, things can change over the weekend, and I think a lot of this was due to, consternation over what could happen this weekend. And again, the bottom, the fear, just that, I'm not going to dwell a lot on the horrific events that happened there, but the fear is that it would spread out to Iran. That's really, that in a nutshell, that's really what it comes down to. If it get Hezbollah and everything else, in other words, if the thing just spreads, that is the issue here. So for now, let's see how that goes over the weekend. And I think that's also obviously a little bit of a concern for market participants. I think that's largely why you saw the sell-off. Similarly, clearly the Nasdaq was hit a lot more, and very similar action. You had yesterday we had the sell-off from the bond auction results. We went sideways. In fact, again, attempted a rally this morning and then just gave way. And essentially, again, you can see very, very choppy trading on a bigger scale, on a daily scale. Also, we're right up against, this is where we broke out from. Okay, so that's where we broke out from. And let's see if that holds, kind of a mean reversion. You have a breakout, that old resistance become new support. Maybe that is going to hold here, and then we get another, maybe we just go chop with, we got Nvidia, or I'm sorry, we got Tesla next week. We got a whole slew of earnings, but the marquee names are Tesla. We got some airlines. We got some more banks, Goldman, Morgan Stanley. I think there was another tech number. Yeah, we had Netflix next week. So there's a whole bunch of earnings next week that could move the NASDAQ, but you can see technically we're right up against where we broke out from. That's really where we're at right here. Right about there is where we broke out this. You remember we were in this consolidation, this big rangy market, and then we broke out. So it's going to be interesting to see. I did sense a little bit of panicky kind of trading again today. And obviously that was manifested in the VIX jumping above 20. So we'll see if that actually proves to be the low again, as it's been the case here for the last several weeks, where the VIX just goes up to 20, and then we get an attempt at a rally. Interesting, this rally didn't take the VIX back up to 15, as it has. The Dow actually held up fairly well today relative, and again, partly because of the banks, JPM and a couple other banks actually held up pretty well. So I think that's what held up the Dow. Russell, again, looks like it's going to break down and probably head down to the 17K level. Basically, big range, still underperforming. Next level on the Russell is probably, down along here somewhere, 1650, even 1700 may hold. Bonds really didn't do a whole lot today. The safety trade did come back a little bit today, the, safe haven trade. So we did have a little bit of a bounce after yesterday's bond auction results that, took the 10-year down. We attempted a rally and literally just went sideways. We still have this resistance here at 108.16 on the 10-year. Yields didn't do much. Dollar also not a lot follow through here after yesterday's rally. This, by the way, was a result of the 10-year as well. The 10-year, the bond auction created some, and maybe some safe haven buying also in the dollar finally, which is really kind of strange that it didn't have. But all the rest of the currencies really not a lot, really, kind of just back and forth, just chop on all of these. Like yen is like nowhere to be. That has not, we've had some movement in the British pound and some movement in the Swissy, but nothing worth really trading. I mean, unless you're just trying to clip some short term. Standout was gold today, right? So this again, finally, as they, I guess, more sanctions on Russia and all that, and again, this again was the standout today. We actually did attempt a short here and took a really tiny loss. We are at the second level here. There is some gap risk in gold this weekend, by the way. As you know, remember that was the gap up last weekend as the conflict really started a week ago on Saturday, and kind of just chopped around. And today was the biggest. I think this again going into the weekend concerns. I think that's really what spurred that. So we'll see if that actually holds. It's it's not the best, because now we're right back against all that. So we'll see how that was really the standout. That and oil, which for obvious reasons, oil did fill the gap. It did start rallying. It looks like it's got, again, this is all predicated on what's going on in the Middle East. We'll see if that actually carries up to these levels here. So we did get a nice jump in oil. Everything else really not a lot going on. Soybeans and all the rest of the markets really didn't do a whole lot. VIX again jumping to 20, pulling back. On the stock side, I'm mentioning Nextera. I think we talked about that. We still are in that. That is a safety trade. It was up a little bit. It had a nice pop at the close. We are still in that. We bought it here at 47.32. We're up nicely on that. And we should be able to hit our target coming up pretty soon. So that is something that we've had all week, and closed out pretty strong relative to the tape, the bad tape. This was a safe haven type of, and so that is actually working out really nicely for us. And I'm looking at a bunch of other situations. We looked at PNC. We looked at next week. We've got TSM, Taiwan Semi reporting. We've got Netflix. We've got the big one, obviously, the high profile one would be Tesla. And then it's still some more banks, Morgan Stanley, American Express. So there's a whole bunch of opportunities for next week for our options strategies. So looking forward to that. And with that, I leave you. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will see you on Tuesday. If you need, if you put some commentary down on the bottom, and again, volatility is picking up. So that's actually really good news because as a trader, we like volatility. We still got to keep size down. We still have to stick to the process, but that implies that we're going to have much bigger moves. Still, Kyla, largely just back and forth choppy trading really on the index has been a little bit of a challenge, but hopefully we get some sustainable type of moves coming forth next week. Okay. All right. Have a great weekend.